Not everyone is worthy of sitting at your table. To the chosen ones, let me remind you of a very powerful fact. A diamond does not beg to be praised. Whether held in someone's hand or ignored, it simply radiates its light proudly. You are that diamond. They had a chance, but they threw it away like fools who cast gold into the flames, harboring the vain hope that they could find it again within their sins. Let me tell you in advance, that will not happen. Listen carefully. The power you possess, the light radiating from your souls, will haunt and torment the minds of those who underestimated you. Your very existence was their lifeline, their secret weapon, and the sole pillar holding their world from collapsing. Yet, they failed to recognize it. Even worse is that, despite seeing it, they mistakenly believed they could replace you with someone else. Now, they are drowning in regret. They are suffering because of the void left by you. This is because they have not merely lost a single person. They have lost you, an absolute being irreplaceable by anything. Chosen ones, this is the reality. Regret is like cheap currency. It is merely a forged apology offered by the selfish. When they knock on your door again to try and turn things around, they are not coming because they want you for who you are. They are coming because they want the sweet benefits they can gain by staying by your side. They are coming to reclaim the energy you poured into them, the unconditional love you gave, Daria, and the strength they sucked from you. But you must know this. You are not a well that can be refilled at any time. You are the divine source, and the access granted to them has now completely ended. Do not misunderstand. Your value does not depend on the approval of others. You were chosen for a reason. You were chosen to rise, to shine, and to lead. Every step you take forward without them will only amplify their regret. Their cries for a second chance will be drowned out by the unstoppable sound of your advancing footsteps. Keep moving forward. Keep shining. Let them suffocate in the black dust of the progress you create. Here is the most important fact. Bringing them back into your lives is not an act of kindness. It is a self-destructive act. They did not cherish you even when you were by their side. So what difference would it make now? A scorpion does not change its stinger simply because it regrets its last sting. Do not be deceived by sweet words and empty promises. Let them bear the price of losing you on their own. You cannot bring a garden snake back in and expect it not to bite again. Remember this fact. Let the boundaries you establish become your armor, and let your absence become a painful lesson they will never forget. If this message is resonating deeply in your soul right now, it is because your deepest inner self already knows this truth. You have been chosen for something bigger and greater, and not everyone is qualified to ride along on that great journey. Continue to build, prosper, and walk toward your own purpose. Their regrets, they are merely the universe's way of showing you the immense impact you have had on the world. But let us be clear, their regrets are not a problem you must solve. Before we delve into deeper stories, I hope you will press the like button and subscribe to this channel. This channel is your safe haven and guide, a space that awakens you to who you truly are. Do not miss a single second of the moments yet to come. I promise you, now is the time for you to soar. Chosen ones, make this your creed. Not everyone is worthy of experiencing the resonance of my light. That light is now entirely yours. It is your legacy and your power, and proof that you are a being whom no one can carelessly touch. Continue to gaze upon the light and let them regret it from afar. There are far more wonderful things for you to do, such as changing the game and taking full control of your destiny. And thank you for being here with us, knowing deep within that you are chosen. Whether you are just beginning this journey or a loyal soul who has walked this path with us, your energy is the driving force of this movement. If you are ready to fully accept your worth, leave the past behind, and watch those who underestimated you regret it on the sidelines, please press the like button, subscribe, and leave 77 in the comments to declare your power. If you are truly chosen, you will never want to miss the next moments that lie ahead. Now, let me break this down in detail, step by step. Please stay with me until the end. It is time to rise. Let us begin. Only after losing the first sun do they begin to long for the light. A fool does not know the value of gold until his hands are empty and it merely hovers behind his pockets. Chosen ones, let us face reality. They have not merely lost an ordinary person. They have lost you, an irreplaceable being. They have not lost a simple person. They have lost a powerful force, a storm and a sanctuary simultaneously. You were the light in their darkness, the answer in their chaos, and the tranquility that calmed their fierce storms. However, the truth is this: not everyone knows the value of light. They only realize its value after being left alone in the pitch-cold darkness. And when that chill seeps in, they will realize that what they have connected was not mere warmth, but the sun itself. You granted them the rarest energy that cannot be bought with money, cannot be replaced, and can never be found once it vanishes. Let me speak frankly, without sugarcoating. They took you for granted. They considered your loyalty a natural right and your kindness their rightful share. They firmly believed that you would continue to answer their call, appear to stitch up their wounds, and sacrifice yourselves to help them endure. But what did they give you back? Nothing. No, it was worse than having nothing. They depleted you. Like thieves in the darkness, they snatched your strength and devoured the fruit of your soul, leaving you empty. They did not think twice about what they possessed, because they believed it would never disappear. But now, they sit in the deep shadow of the choices they made, gripped by the terror of your absence. The emptiness they feel is not mere loneliness. It is the painful realization that no one in this world can replace the power you once possessed. They went out to look for your likeness among others, but they found only pale imitations. Why? Because divinity cannot be replicated. However, let me remind you of one very important fact once again. Their regret is not a tribute to you. Regret is merely an emotional tomb where they bury their guilt, and just because they belatedly realized your value does not mean they have grown. It is simply desperation. They are not grieving the loss of you as a person. they are grieving the loss of the benefits you provided. They miss your energy, the solutions you offered, and the unwavering presence that stood by their side. The crucial fact here is that they do not truly miss you. They will try to crawl back into your life with sweet words. They will say that they have finally seen the light and have finally realized your value. Do not be deceived. A snake that has shed its skin is still just a snake. They have not changed. They have simply realized how great a luxury it was to have you by their side and want to reclaim it. That is not love or respect. It is a thoroughly opportunistic desire. Let me answer a question that may be lingering in your mind. What if they had truly changed? Chosen ones, if they did not know the value of gold when it was in their hands, how could they treat you differently now? People do not suddenly grow into beings capable of giving you the treatment you rightfully deserve. They only feel bitterness when they lose something they were not entitled to in the first place. Let them rise up from their regret. It is not your job to share a second chance with those who squandered their first opportunity. They had the authority to approach you, the most powerful and unwavering energy in the world, yet they let it slip away like amateurs. Now they will spend their entire lives in vain, trying to fill that empty void that only your presence can fill. And that is none of your business. You have something far more valuable than their belated realization. It is the powerful strength of being the chosen. You were chosen to soar higher, and you possess a dazzling light bright enough to starkly illuminate the cracks in those who cannot bear it. Your existence is a blessing to those who respect your energy, and an eternal warning to those who do not, that they will never possess that energy again. So should we accept them back? Absolutely not. They did not respect the sun when it shone upon them. Therefore, let them freeze in the darkness. Let their regret become the heavy chains they must bear for themselves. On the other hand, you shine brighter than ever and soar higher. You are not a lesson they must learn again. You are the punishment itself, which they must live with, feeling it in their very bones for the rest of their lives. Keep moving forward, you chosen ones. Let your dazzling light from afar blind their eyes, and walk toward your own destiny without wavering an inch at their desperation. They will helplessly watch you soar. And that is indeed the sweetest justice in the world. Secondly, you were the flame that kept them warm. Now they are left in the cold. A leech does not mourn the loss of its host. They grieve only over the loss of their prey. Chosen ones, I will speak directly to your souls. You were their lifeline, their secret, and the invisible force that kept their world intact. When you stepped into their lives, you did not merely appear there. You brought light to their darkest corners, conveyed warmth on their coldest days, and breathed energy into their lifeless routines. Your presence was never ordinary. It was a life-changing miracle. You were not merely there, you embraced and sustained them. However, there is a bitter truth they will never acknowledge. They did not look at you as a miracle. They did not respect the flame that kept their lives burning. They only realized your absence after the flame had gone out. Now that you are gone, they are trembling in the darkness. They are scrambling, not knowing how on earth they are to survive without the energy you so unsparingly gave. As you know, most people do not deeply realize how much they depended on a net until the well dried up. They did not merely drink water from your well, they completely dried it up. They leaned on your instructors, soaked up your encouragement, and gnawed away at the stability you provided, without ever once considering the price they had to pay. They deluded themselves into believing that your energy was infinite, your love unwavering, and your existence guaranteed. And now they are completely depleted. Their world without you feels colder, darker, and more empty. They do not know how to rebuild what they have lost. This is because, frankly speaking, they never built anything with their own hands in the first place. You were doing everything for them. That is precisely why they are so desperate to return. It is not because they love you. It is not because they respect you. They simply miss the benefits you gave them maddeningly. Let us make this clear. Their desperation is not praise toward you. It is a confession. It is a confession exposing the fact that they have never once stood on their own 2 feet. They have been leaning on you all along. And now that you, who were meant to shoulder their burdens, are gone, they are collapsing, crushed by the weight of their own emptiness. However, there is something you must understand. You are not their emergency generator. You are not someone else's reservoir, an endlessly gushing river. You never came into this world to be crutches for those who refuse to learn to walk on their own. Your energy is sacred. It is not your responsibility to keep filling those who refuse to sustain themselves. Think of your energy as a flame. A flame is powerful, but it is not infinite. If someone stands too close to the fire for too long without adding fuel, the flame will gradually begin to die down. You gave them the flame that kept their world alive, yet they never once thought to add more firewood. They did not protect your flame. They merely stood there, absorbing the heat until everything burned up and turned to ashes. And now, shivering in the cold, they are begging to be brought back. They hope that you will rekindle the embers they extinguished. But, you chosen ones, the truth is this: if they failed to protect your flame from the beginning, they will eventually extinguish it again. You must not allow them to come back in. When you were in their lives, you carried the weight of 2 people. You gave without limits, supported without hesitation, and poured yourselves out until almost nothing remained. But what was the price? Being treated as a given. Being used like a battery to be discarded once used up. No, that is not your purpose. You were not chosen to be an endless power source for someone else. You were chosen to light the way for yourself and for those who truly respect your energy. Let them feel the cold. Let them stagger in the darkness. Let their regret take the place of the flame they never learned to extinguish themselves. Here is a secret of the world. People cherish only what they cannot have. Now that they realize they have lost the authority to approach you, they will finally realize what they once possessed. But it is already too late. The door is firmly shut. So if they intend to return, remember this: what they need is not love. Their desperation is not respect. They do not want you to lift them up. They simply want you to continue carrying them while they press down on you. Chosen ones, do not let them mistake your light for weakness. Conserve your energy. Let their regret become a lesson they must bear for themselves and move forward lightly. Much greater things await you, those great things where they had no place to interfere in the first place. Keep the flame burning for the worthy, and let the leeches survive on their own in the cold. You are not their saviors. You are your own saviors. Let them bitterly regret losing you as they watch them soar far higher than you ever imagined. Thirdly, what follows them is a mirror reflecting the loss they themselves have suffered, not a mirror reflecting you. A thief does not regret the fact that he stole, but only the treasure he can no longer hold. To the chosen ones, let me set the facts straight. When they say they regret losing you, do not mistake it for you as a person. Their regret has nothing to do with your soul, your heart, or your essence. It is entirely related to their own selfish loss. They do not truly miss you. They miss the comfort, stability, and all the benefits you brought to their lives. You were their light in the storm and their light in the fog. You were a quiet yet strong force they could lean on when the world was in chaos. However, instead of cherishing that, they treated you like an inexhaustible resource. They took your love for granted, consumed your time without gratitude, and mindlessly drained your energy. Now that you are gone, their world has become unstable, lonely, and unbearably harsh. This is not love. They are merely grieving the loss of convenience. It may sound a bit stinging, but here is the truth that will set you free. If they truly valued you as a person, they would not have treated you like disposable commodities in the first place. They would not have ignored your needs or disregarded your boundaries, nor would they have mistakenly believed that you would always be there no matter how carelessly they acted. Yet they acted that way. And now that you have moved away, they are scrambling to rewrite the story, packaging their regret as love or belated realization. But what are they truly realizing? Is it your value? No, they are realizing their own loss. They are realizing how much harder life is without your wisdom, your encouragement, and your unwavering support. It is just like a parasite realizing that it has lost its host. Parasites are not saddened by you. They are saddened by the threat to their own survival. Do not be deceived by their words. Their sorrow does not stem from genuine change involving significant growth or self-awareness. It originates from their inability to adapt without you. They are not sad because they have come to deeply understand your true value. They are angry because they have lost the benefits your presence provided. They do not regret having hurt you. They regret losing the benefits gained by keeping you by their side. Herein lies a crucial blind spot. Nothing is worthless without accompanying growth. If someone claims to regret losing you yet makes absolutely no effort to change their behavior, what on earth has changed? Nothing. They will return with sweet words, honey-coated apples, and empty promises of a better future. However, pay attention to their actions, not their words. Words can be empty, and promises can be hollow. If they did not respect you when they could have approached you, why would they respect you now? Think about it. What will change now that you have regained your strength for those who failed to see your value, even when you gave them everything? Nothing will change. They will fall back into that same toxic pattern of treating you as just an option, not a top priority, because they have already clearly shown you what kind of people they are. Chosen ones, this is not a burden you must bear. You are not responsible for healing their wounds, soothing their regrets, or filling the void they created for themselves when they took you for granted. Their regret is not your problem. It is their lesson. Let them bear the weight of the choices they made. Let them learn the bitter truth that there is no second chance when access to something tremendous and extraordinary is lost. This is what you must remember. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not for the benefits you provide. You are not a service center, a stepping stone, or a safety net for those who cannot stand on their own 2 feet. Your value is not tied to how much you can give, how much you can fix, or how much you can sacrifice. Sometimes, the most powerful action you can take is to close that door and lock it tightly from the back. Their regret is not a signal to accept them back. It is proof from the universe that you made the right choice. Let them feel the emptiness of a life without you with their whole being. Make them clearly face the consequences of their actions. If you have doubts about yourself, remember these words. People only regret what they have done when they belatedly realize that it is irreplaceable. But by then, it is already too late. Let their regret become a heavy burden they must carry themselves. Do not mistake it for an invitation to you. You did not come into this world to be just one option in someone else's life. You stand here to shine, prosper, and walk into your own powerful force without looking back. Therefore, let them soar to new heights beyond their imagination, and let them bitterly regret losing you. They had the opportunity, but they blew it away. There is no place for them in your future journey. And that is the truest form of justice. Fourth, they want to enjoy benefits without paying the price. Everyone wants treasure, but only a tiny fraction are willing to dig the ground for it. Listen carefully, you chosen ones. When they regret losing you, it is not because they have suddenly become better people or deeply realized their mistakes. It is simply because they miss the things you brought to their lives, your light, wisdom, and loyalty. However, they do not want to strive to earn the right to enjoy it. They are not here to keep pace with your efforts. They merely want access to the benefits you provide, while evading the responsibility of rising to your level. You are precious, and that scarcity attracts people. You deeply uplift and inspire people, making them feel understood and valued in ways they have never experienced before. Your energy is like a magnet, and your presence is powerful. However, let us face reality. Whether it is a friendship, family relationship, or partnership, no relationship is a one-way street. Your efforts do not exist to be poured out without any reward. Yet the very people who say they regret losing you are often the ones who have no intention of returning what you gave so unsparingly. They want to come back, but it is not because they have changed. They appear with empty words and vague apologies, hoping you will mistake their regret for inner growth. However, without effort, it is merely another name for manipulation and deception. They hope you will be moved by their sudden interest and turn a blind eye to the truth. That truth is the fact that they put in no effort to earn their right to have you. And to tell you the uncomfortable truth, their complacency is not merely a matter of laziness. It stems from a sense of entitlement. They believe they can simply walk back into your life and reclaim everything as before, without fixing the very behaviors that caused the relationship to collapse. They are still acting with the same mindset, the same attitude of resisting change, and the same half-hearted attitude that once drained you so much. However, you have changed. You have grown and realized your own worth, setting much higher standards. Accepting them back means lowering those standards. It is an act of self-deprecation, tearing down the new level of self-esteem you have built with blood, sweat, and tears. Why on earth must you do this? Is it to give them everything you offer so they can enjoy it with minimal effort? You, the chosen ones, must draw a line right here. If they want to approach you, they too must rise to your level. They must prove through consistent effort and genuine growth that they are worthy of standing by your side. If they fail to do so, that door must remain closed forever. You do not exist in this world to carry on your back those who refuse to walk on their own 2 feet. You are not here to accept those shallow compromises disguised as love or friendship. Your energy is too precious, powerful, and rare to be wasted on those who refuse to climb to the heights where you stand. Remember this. Those who truly know your worth do not need to be forcibly persuaded to meet your standards. They will do so willingly of their own accord. Let their regrets become their heavy burdens, and do not make them an invitation for you to compromise. Continue to move forward, grow, and shine brilliantly. Those who truly deserve you will keep pace with your energy without any excuses. Let everyone else be left behind, gazing from afar at what they will never have again, and swallow it only later. Fifth, you are a lifeline, not a free ticket. Not everyone is entitled to rise with you. Do not let someone who is content to crawl on the ground hinder your soaring. To the chosen ones, let us make one thing clear. Your energy is very rare. You are not just an ordinary person passing through someone else's life. You are a mighty force. Your very presence brings home, motivates, and inspires those around you. Where others see only obstacles, you see potential. And your unwavering faith in others can ignite a spark within them that they themselves were unaware of. However, there is a painful truth. Not everyone deserves to reach the heights you lift them up to. Some are drawn to you not out of respect for your light, but because they want to exploit it. They regard your generosity and willingness to help as resources they can exploit. To them, your kindness is like an inexhaustible well. They never think to refill it, but simply drink endlessly. They are not there to grow with you. They are there to hitch a ride on the rocket built with your sweat, effort, and patience. Such people are unwilling to take on any effort, risk, or challenge necessary to ascend. They are content to remain stationary, yet they cling tenaciously to you as their shield. They expect you to carry them on your back while contributing only the bare minimum. They are not your team members. They are merely passengers, shackles that secretly weigh you down from behind while you struggle to climb upward. Allowing such people to remain in your life is not merely a drain on your energy. It is an act that destroys your progress. Every time you lower your standards to accommodate someone who does not align with your vision, you are betraying the greatness destined for you. You have worked too hard, sacrificed too much, and grown too far to be held captive by those who cannot even keep up, merely trying to drag you back down into the mud where you started. This is the truth you must accept. Not everyone is destined to join your journey. Climbing upward is not merely a matter of how high you fly, but of who you allow to climb with you. The people truly qualified to enter your life are those who keep pace with your energy, effort, and vision. They do not simply take second place in your success, they contribute to it. Just as you do, they pull those around them up as they ascend. Do not feel guilty about leaving people behind. You are not abandoning them, you are choosing yourself. Sometimes the best way to love someone is to let them find their own path rather than relying on yours. If they are destined to meet you at the summit, they ought to make the effort to reach it by their own strength. Chosen ones, your energy is divine. Save that energy for those who respect, cherish, and know how to repay it. Do not give rides to those who only want to get in without filling up the gas. You have no responsibility to carry on with those who refuse to stand on their own. Remember, not everyone is entitled to enjoy the gifts that may come your way. That is not selfish, it is wise. Keep rising and keep shining. And let those who are not ready to rise with you stay where they are. Your journey is yours alone, not for everyone. Choose yourself and watch your life soar higher than you can imagine. Sixth, even if they search the whole world, they will never find anyone like you again. Finding a puddle does not replace the ocean. Let us make one thing clear for you, the chosen ones. They mistakenly believed that they could easily find someone else to fill the void you left behind. They believed they could escape your energy, your love, and your incomparable essence to replicate it exactly elsewhere. But reality does not work that way. And now they are realizing a painful truth, that you are irreplaceable. Your specialness does not lie merely in the way you loved, cherished, and supported them. It lies in your essence, your soul, and your very attitude toward life. You are not just an ordinary person. You are the blueprint itself. You brought a deep understanding, a strong character, and a warmth of soul into their lives that will never appear again. They may have deceived themselves into thinking that someone else could give exactly what you gave. However, every time they struggle to fill the massive void you left behind, they encounter nothing but an empty echo. This is the most critical issue. Because they thought what you gave them was commonplace, they took you for granted. They believed it was acceptable to treat you like disposable goods, to be used and discarded at any moment, and they hastily assumed that someone else would take your place once you left. But you were never acting out a role. You simply existed as yourself. And now that you are gone, they are paying a painful price and realizing that people like you do not appear as easily as if they fell from the sky. This is the bitter taste of regret they are experiencing. They have not merely lost a person, they have lost an absolutely irreplaceable being. As they wander here and there, searching for even a shabby imitation of the dazzling light you brought into their lives, all that remains for them is deep disappointment. The new relationships they form will feel infinitely shallow compared to the depth you provided. Everyone they meet is merely a painful reminder of what they had and what they have lost. But, you chosen ones, the truth is this: their regret is not your problem. It is neither a sign that they have grown, nor proof that they have finally come to respect your value. In most cases, regret is extremely selfish. It is not rooted in love for you, but in the pain they themselves are experiencing. They are not crying because they see your happiness or growth. They are crying because of the agonizing fact that they cannot replace what you gave to their lives. Therefore, when they return, and I guarantee it, they will certainly return, do not be shaken by their regret. Their inability to find someone like you, which leads them to despair, is not a sign that they have changed. It merely reflects their immense loss. They failed to recognize your true worth when you were by their side. Just because you have realized that no one can surpass you does not mean your attitude will magically change. You are not a plan B for insurance. You are not a second chance for those who failed to recognize your value when you first met. Let them search for you for the rest of their lives and simply prosper. Surround yourself with people who fully recognize your value from the very beginning, rather than those who realize your worth only after losing you. Chosen ones, please remember this one thing. The fact that they cannot replace you is not a burden you must bear. It is a punishment they must carry for the rest of their lives. Let their regret become the grueling price they must pay for underestimating you. Continue to move forward without wavering an inch. This is because you are always the one and only absolute being. Seventh, their apology is merely a disposable bandage applied to that old wound. An apology without accompanying change is merely another name for manipulation and deception. Chosen ones, let us face it head on, just as we are. Their apology is not the result of a tremendous realization. It is merely a reaction and a reflex to reclaim what they have lost, nothing more than a desperate struggle. No matter how sweet or thoroughly calculated their words may sound, never fall for that superficial sincerity. An apology not backed by genuine growth is like a hollow, rotten tree. It may look sturdy on the outside, but the moment you lean on it, it will crumble miserably. Speaking is so easy. Anyone can do it. But where were their worries and regrets when you supported them through such a grueling mud and continued to give them opportunities they did not deserve? Where were their apologies when you needed them most? Words are cheap, but action demands effort, change, and a thorough sense of responsibility. Here is the core question you must ask yourself. If they did not respect you, even when they could have had everything, why on earth would they change now? The cruel truth is this: humans are creatures of habit. Unless they make the deep, uncomfortable, and soul-crushing, bone-cutting effort to face their own decisions squarely, they are bound to fall back into the same toxic pattern. Their apologies are nothing more than a pause button. They are merely a means to reset everything and regain your trust. However, the moment they accept your forgiveness and feel safe again, the cracks will reappear. That dismissive attitude, that shamelessness in crossing your boundaries, and the weariness of the painstaking effort that led you to leave in the first place will resurface. Their regret does not stem from love or genuine change. It comes from the discomfort they feel around you. It is not because they want to do better, but because they want to reclaim their comfortable past. They are not driven by a sense of responsibility to treat you with respect and consideration, but rather by a longing for the benefits they gained from keeping you by their side. Let me make this clear. Bringing them back into your life when they have not even proven lasting change is like sending an invitation to repeat the same destructive cycle. Eventually, you will find yourself standing in the same spot, clutching the same wounds, and blaming yourself for why on earth you gave them another chance. And as you may have guessed, that is exactly what they are secretly hoping for. They want your tender heart to overwhelm your rational judgment and hope that your overflowing kindness will cause you to reopen the door that was firmly locked once it was deemed justified. Protecting yourself is never selfish. It is a prerequisite for survival. You are not here to fix those who refuse to fix themselves. You are not a rehabilitation center for people with broken patterns. If they truly understood your value, they would not merely pay lip service but make painstaking efforts. They would prove themselves to you through consistent actions, not empty promises. And if they lack the will to do so, that is precisely the answer you must find. Do not let their shallow regrets cloud your judgment. Do not let the cow of guilt compromise with treatment you deserve. Stand firm against it. Chosen ones, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to let them feel the full weight of the choices they themselves made. Let their regret become their heavy burden. Do not mistake it for a responsibility you must bear. If they do not change their behavioral patterns, the outcome will never change. Turn around and walk forward. Your true strength lies in that confident attitude of firmly refusing to repeat the past. 8th, you are not a crutch to support their anxiety. The very hand that pulled you up when you fell will push you back into the water once they learn to swim. Chosen ones, let us face reality. They did not come seeking you out of terribly affection and devotion. They came seeking you because you were their lifeline and their fixer, the only person who would hold them when the world crumbled. You carried their burdens for them, stitched up their broken pieces, and provided them with a safe sanctuary where they could heal. But let me ask you one thing. Where on earth were they when you truly needed someone? You were always their refuge and their emotional money. When a storm raged, they rushed to you in a panic. But the moment the weather cleared, they vanished without a trace, leaving you empty and lonely. They did not regard you as a life partner. They treated you merely as a safety net or a reliable cushion to catch them whenever they stumbled and fell, ensuring they wouldn't get hurt. And now that you have cut that fairy tale string, they are plummeting into chaos, filled with regret. However, that regret is not about losing you. It is regret over losing the comfort and safety you provided. There is a cruel truth they hope you never realize. Their aftermath is not because they miss your essence. It is not because of the beauty of your soul, the deep love you gave, or your unique sense of presence. It is entirely about themselves. What they have lost is the immense convenience provided by the person who always gathered their broken pieces without question or argument, and who carried their heavy burdens for them without a single complaint. Then, what happens to the weight of life you have been carrying and to your broken pieces? Have they ever stopped even once to seriously consider your pain or needs? No. This is because the relationship was never about mutual consideration from the beginning. It was strictly about their own survival. And now that they can no longer lean on you or secretly let their anxieties drift away into your stream, they have become so desperate. You, the chosen ones, this is exactly what you must understand. Once their sense of responsibility is compromised, their actions are nothing more and nothing less than manipulation and deception. They do not want to take you back because they have grown or because they are ready to give as much as they receive. It is simply because they are sinking and desperately need someone to bring their heads back to the surface. But you are not a lifeboat. You are not crutches for those who refuse to stand on their own 2 feet. Furthermore, you have no obligation to shoulder the heavy burden of anxiety for those who did not lift a finger to help you. A one-sided relationship is not a relationship at all. It is merely an emotional transaction that empties you while only filling the other person's belly. If someone appears only when their life is shattered and disappears in ignorance when yours crumbles, let them vanish forever. Their confusion is not your responsibility. Let them resolve their own wretched situation. Let them learn the bitter truth of what it means to build strength from within. You have no obligation to give someone a second chance to drain your blood and sweat. If they truly recognize your value, they will return as someone who can add something to your life. Carrying their own burdens, they will have walked half the journey to meet you. Until then, their anxiety is not your problem, nor is it an invitation to reopen a broken door. Chosen ones, conserve your energy. You are not their safety net. You are your own sacred sanctuary, and you deserve to meet someone who can build something together with you, rather than someone who merely leans on you until they collapse. Save the remaining parts of your river for those who know how to respect it, and let the rest simply plummet to the bottom. Your 9th deacon leaves them alone with the truth they so desperately tried to escape. A mirror does not lie. Whether the person standing before it is ready to see or not, it simply reflects what is there. Chosen ones, when you turn around and leave, you are not merely leaving an empty space. You are leaving them a time of painful judgment. Your deacon becomes an intense spotlight deep within them, forcing them to confront the ugly parts of themselves they so desperately wanted to turn away from. When you were present in their lives, you served as a shield that deflected the harsh reality of their flaws, insecurities, and failures. You were their comfort zone, their refuge, and the perfect excuse not to grow on their own. But now that you are gone, there is nowhere left for them to hide. The truth is this: your energy made their lives far too easy. You provided a stability they could not create on their own, poured out encouragement they did not know how to offer, and unconditionally supported them when they were too weak to stand on their own. You were their sturdy crutches. As long as they had you by their side, they did not need to confront the vast cracks in their very foundations. But now that you have left, all that remains for them is the cold, painful truth that reveals who they truly are. And that sight is by no means beautiful. Their regret is not that they miss you as human beings. It is that they miss the loss of the perfect refuge that allowed them to escape their fatal flaws. They do not want to face the emptiness, anxiety, and terrible chaos that have lurked beneath the surface all this time. However, without you, who used to gently absorb the blows flying toward them, they have no choice but to take those blows bare. Your absence starkly exposes the sculpting efforts they have avoided, the growth they have thoroughly ignored, and the responsibility they never wanted to bear. And now, they want to return. They will make excuses, saying they miss you so much that they have completely changed and that they simply cannot live without you. But let us call them by their true names. It is not love, but desperation. What they truly miss is the comfort of the past, when they did not have to undertake the painful task of facing themselves. They miss the strength of yours that concealed their weaknesses, and they miss the love of yours that filled the gaps in their character. Here, there is something you must remember. It is not your responsibility to become their crutches. You are not a medical bandage to be applied to wounds they refuse to heal themselves. Bringing them back into life is not helping them. It is encouraging their destructive tendencies. It amounts to allowing them to continue avoiding the painful discomfort that is absolutely necessary for growth. Growth occurs only when someone is forcibly thrown into their own discomfort, confronts their reflection in the mirror squarely, and makes a painstaking effort. Sometimes, the best thing you can do for someone is to leave them alone in that space of regret. Let them feel the weight of what they have lost with their whole bodies and learn how to carry it on their own. Your absence is the only opportunity for them to finally step forward, take responsibility, and grow. However, that journey is entirely theirs, not yours. Do not let their shallow regrets manipulate you to reopen that broken door you have already graduated from. You have completed the painstaking effort to soar upward, regain your energy, and move forward. Your life is meant for those who recognize your value and will build something together with you, not for those who endlessly exploit and drain you. Let them face themselves, and you simply focus on soaring higher. Remember this: your absence is not merely their regret, but the greatest lesson they deserve to learn. 10th, they mistakenly believed you would stay forever, but by leaving, you proved them wrong. Misused kindness eventually becomes a painful lesson learned in the harshest way. Chosen ones, let us be honest. Those who take you for granted conjure up a very comfortable lie in their minds. They firmly believe that your loyalty, kindness, and endless forgiveness are infinite resources that they can take as they please without any liability. They mistakenly believe that you will always rush to their call, appear unconditionally whenever they need you, and brush off any rudeness with a smile. They mistook your generosity for weakness and your patience for naivete. But they were thoroughly wrong. When you turned around and left, you did not simply walk away from the spot. You shattered their arrogant and foolish illusions into pieces. They were forced to confront the harsh truth they never wanted to face, that actions inevitably have consequences. And they drove you too severely to the edge of a cliff. Your departure was not merely a defensive act to protect yourself. It was a powerful declaration and a clear warning that you are not someone to be treated lightly, nor are you pushovers who will tolerate endless rudeness. Now, sitting in deep regret, they realize too late that the door they believed would remain open forever has been slammed shut and firmly locked. What they never anticipated was precisely your overwhelming strength. When you decided to leave, you proved that your loyalty was not a sign of weakness, but a privilege. And they have thoroughly squandered that privilege. This is not revenge or a childish power struggle, nor is it an attempt to hold a grudge and teach them a lesson. This is a process of proving to the whole world and to yourselves that your own peace and dignity are far more important than someone else's selfish sense of entitlement. You did not leave because your feelings for them had cooled. You left because you had finally begun to truly cherish and love yourself. And now, they regret it bitterly. However, their regret is not limited merely to the fact that they have lost you as a human being. It is due to the tremendous shock they felt from the realization that they were completely wrong to believe you would always be there, no matter how they treated you. It is the shock of realizing how foolish they were to think they could trample on your boundaries without paying a price, and to expect your unwavering devotion while exploiting your loyalty. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Their regret does not erase the past, nor does it return the wounds they inflicted. Regret does not mean they have learned a true lesson, and it certainly does not mean you should give them a second chance. Let their regret stay exactly where it is. It is not your job to shoulder their guilt or heal their wounds. Leaving was more than just an act of self-respect. It became the most powerful lesson they will carry for the rest of their lives. And it is a lesson you can be proud of. You have clearly shown that keeping your boundaries is not an option. You have clearly proven that your kindness is by no means weakness, but the greatest strength, and that it should have been cherished rather than exploited. Therefore, do not let their regrets drag you back into that terrible yoke from which you yourself broke free. All their delusions about you were thoroughly wrong, but your decision to leave was perfectly right. Keep moving forward. Chosen ones, let your absence speak much louder and clearer than an empty apple. You have soared upward, and that is the most powerful and perfect proof that you are forever a being whom no one can dare to approach. to accept them back is to betray your current selves. Returning to the things that shattered you is like stitching up a wound, only to tear it open with your own hands. Chosen ones, let me make this clear. Giving them back is not a simple mistake. It is an act of betrayal against the selves you have now, the ones you have worked so hard to build. Growth never comes easily. It is a medal awarded only to those who endure pain, learn the harsh lessons life throws with bitterness, and find the strength to rise tall amidst chaos. You did not endure all those adversities merely to return to a scarred past. When they return with apologies, regrets, and empty promises to do better, something inside you may waver. After all, you once cared deeply for them. However, you must remember this. You no longer exist here in the past that they took for granted. That pushover version of you, who used to tolerate rudeness, painstakingly ignore countless warning signs, and pour out second chances while sacrificing your own peace, is already dead. You have evolved. And accepting them back is an insult to the very self that fought so fiercely to grow. Reflect on what it took to reach this point. Recall the countless nights you stayed awake with a piercing gaze, the desperate hours of self-reflection, and those painful moments when you had to pick yourself up again, stitch by stitch, from the ground you had collapsed. Every boundary you set, every no you spat out, and every tear you shed have come together to create the unwavering, strong person you are today. Bringing them back into your life risks completely nullifying all that painstaking progress. Let us face reality squarely. They are not returning because they love who you are now. They are returning because they miss the past, when you endured their trashy behavior. They do not respect the new boundaries you have established. They are merely looking for a way to manipulate you again by using those boundaries as a pretext. But the truth is this: someone who truly values your growth will never ask you to compromise on it. They will celebrate your takeoff. They will not try to drag you back down to a weak version of yourself from the past that has already lost its effectiveness. Taking them back is like reopening a book you have already finished reading. It is like struggling to rewrite chapters that should have been kept closed forever. You have already learned everything you needed to learn from that story. Turning the pages again does not change the ending. It merely brings back the terrible pain you barely managed to turn your back on and leave behind. Worst of all is the fact that giving them back sends a fatal message. It confirms to them that your growth is negotiable at any time, and that the healing process you achieved with such tears of blood can be erased in an instant with just a few words of regret. However, your growth is never a subject for debate. It is sacred. It is your armor, your strength, and the most powerful proof that you are no longer someone who endures treatment worse than what you rightfully deserve. Respecting growth means choosing yourself. It means protecting your current self and thoroughly severing all relationships that seek to drag you back to the past. This is not a matter of anger or resentment. This is a matter of absolute self-esteem. You deserve to form relationships that keep pace with your growth, not relationships that undermine it. So let them regret losing you from afar. Let their apologies fall without a trap onto hardened ears that no longer need their acknowledgement. Giving them back might offer momentary comfort, but it is merely a dangerous stopgap measure that comes at a costly research price. You are far more valuable now than such things. Protect your progress, safeguard your peace, and keep moving forward. Leave the past forever behind your back, where it rightfully belongs. The privilege of being the 12th to approach you is a gift they should have cherished long ago. The rarest treasure in the world deserves to be thoroughly protected and should not be carelessly handed over to those who have already proven they are unworthy. Chosen ones, your existence is never ordinary. It is specialness itself. Your time, energy, and light are precious gifts possessing the immense power to inspire, heal, and bring home to those around you. That is precisely why people are drawn to you and captivated by the rare energy you radiate. However, let us clarify one thing. Not everyone is entitled to share that dazzling light. The right to approach you is not an innate right granted from birth, but a privilege. Now is the time to treat it as a true privilege. When someone who ignored and underestimated you returns with apologies and regret, they have completely forgotten the past and shamelessly expect you to accept them back. But the painful truth is this: their words alone are woefully insufficient. If you allow them to approach you again without holding them strictly accountable, you are sending a terrible message that your boundaries can crumble at any moment, your value can be questioned, and your energy is freely available to anyone. That is not the story you intended to write in this world. You have been chosen for something far greater. You did not come to this earth to become someone's ego, a plan B, or a disposable tool to solve momentary problems. Your energy is sacred. It is not an innocent invitation given again to those who trampled on the opportunity when it was first presented. Think of your time and existence as pure gold. Would you hand that pure gold back to someone who once threw it to the ground? Of course not. Yet far too many people mistakenly believe they have the right to shamelessly walk back into your life simply because they feel regret. However, regret is not an attitude of responsibility, and their emotions are not your obligation to attend to. True respect is proven by actions, not empty apologies. Those who truly know your value would not have taken you for granted in the first place. They do not commit the foolish act of waiting until you leave only to realize your value belatedly. From the beginning, they respect your energy, regard being by your side as a tremendous privilege, and treat you with preciousness. And leave those who did not do so to watch from the very door they are standing behind, filled with regret. Their passing is not a signal to lower your standards. In fact, it is a painful lesson they must learn on their own. The authority to approach you is earned not through inducing guilt or manipulative tactics, but only through thorough respect, consideration, and consistent behavior. This is not a cruel or unforgiving attitude. It is about protecting your peace and safeguarding your own value. Returning someone who has already revealed their true nature is not merely devaluing you, it leaves a very dangerous precedent. It teaches them that even if they ignore you and cross your boundaries, there is always a loophole to return through. That is an unpleasant energy that you must never allow. By strictly choosing who to allow into your space, you maintain a sincere attitude of defending your value. You are clearly imprinting upon the world and yourself the fact that your energy is absolutely precious and your time is irreplaceable. Let their regret be proof that you are irreplaceable. However, do not be deceived by that regret and lower your defenses. It is a tremendous privilege to be able to approach you, and those who truly understand this will cherish the first opportunity with all their might, without needing to beg for a second chance. Protect peace and safeguard your energy. Do not let their regrets become a punishment they must bear themselves, nor become your invitation to reopen a door that should have remained closed forever. 13. Realizing your own worth is the symbol of ultimate power. The moment you fully realize your value, you become an invincible being whom no one who has underestimated you dares to touch. Chosen ones, engrave this truth deep into your souls. You were never born to be someone's insurance policy, an emotional trash can, or a safety net sought only when it is convenient. Your existence, energy, and time are rare treasures, and absolutely not just anyone is entitled to enjoy them. The sooner you realize this, the more overwhelmingly strong you become. When they regret losing you, it is not because they have suddenly become angelic or gained a profound realization about their wretched behavior. No, it is simply because they have realized, with their whole being, the painful truth that the things you brought into their lives are utterly irreplaceable. They are painfully missing the steadfast stability you gave them, the immense love you poured out, and how much easier, more dazzling, and more fulfilling their lives felt thanks to you. But the harsh truth is this: their aftermath has nothing to do with your value. Your value is not determined by how much someone else misses you. Their aftermath does not define your value. It merely reflects how foolish a loss they themselves suffered. Never make the mistake of mistaking their sudden longing for inner growth or self-reflection. If they truly knew your value, they would have clearly demonstrated it through their actions while you were still by their side. Your true strength comes from this very moment. It is the moment they realize that to move forward, they need absolutely no validation or apologies. You are not a safety net to hold on to when their world crumbles, nor are you a refuge they crawl into when they have lost all other options. You are not their second chance. You are not their plan B. You are the one and only perfect plan, and only those who can keep pace with your energy and thoroughly respect your boundaries are worthy of staying in your life. Turning your back on those who do not recognize your value is never a sign of weakness. It is the greatest self you can demonstrate and a proof of your most overwhelming power. It takes immense courage to say that you deserve much better treatment, and even greater courage to turn around and firmly hold on to that decision. When you do that, you are not simply closing the door to toxic behavior. You are opening wide the door to a dazzling future surrounded by people who truly recognize your value, thoroughly respect your boundaries, and keep pace with your energy perfectly. To be able to approach me is a privilege, not an inherent right. Make this your eternal mantra. Not everyone is entitled to enjoy the warmth in your light or the benefits of the infinite love and support you pour out. Strictly save your time and energy only for those who share your growth and direction. Sincerely celebrate your journey and prove they deserve to stand by your side through consistent actions rather than empty words. Therefore, you chosen ones, keep moving forward. Maintain your peace and keep your standards high. Firmly refuse to belittle yourself to deal with the fools who failed to recognize your rise when the opportunity arose. It is not a burden you must carry after them. That is a lesson they must learn with tears of blood. Remember, you are not merely someone they lost. You are the one who clearly showed them in their lives what it means to be truly respected, and whether they acknowledge it or not, it is a memory that will haunt and torment their minds for the rest of their lives. Stand strong. Focus on your goals and soar endlessly upward. You have been chosen for something far greater. Finally, you chosen ones, remember this. Your value can never be compromised, and it is the punishment they must pay for failing to recognize your worth when they had the chance. From the beginning, you were not destined to be anyone's second choice or to become me. Hold your head high, walk forward confidently with your powerful strides, and let their regret become a painful lesson for themselves, not for you. If this message has deeply resonated with your soul, press the like button and subscribe immediately. Also, write 77 in the comments to declare your infinite power. Do not forget to share this video with others who need to be reminded of this painful truth once again. You have been chosen for greatness, and nothing in this world can stop you.